Hey sports fans, it's time for NUTV Sports.
What makes this year Northeastern's year?
Buenos dias, Northeastern. I'm Emil Gruber, sitting alongside Neil McCarthy. Now I don't seriously speak Spanish, but we certainly spout sports. Hit me, McCarthy.
Well, Emil, it's the second week of February here in Boston, and that means one thing, the Beanpot. This past Monday, the men's ice hockey team faced off against BC in the Beanpot finals. The number 1 ranked Eagles were looking for their 5th straight title, while the number 12 ranked Huskies were looking for their 5th ever title. Unfortunately, the Eagles were victorious with a 4-1 win, but with 2 of those 4 goals coming in the last 2 minutes of the game, including an empty net goal. The Huskies had started off strong, almost scoring the game's first goal, but it was called back when the net was moved on the play. Only minutes later, BC's Kevin Hayes scored, putting the Eagles up 1-0. The score stayed that way until 1 minute and 24 seconds remained in the second period, when NU's freshman John Stevens scored the equalizer, his first ever Beanpot goal. Late in the third, Patrick Brown tipped in a goal that put the Eagles ahead 2-1, and the Huskies just couldn't come back. Though it had a disappointing end, it was an exciting game to watch, and the Huskies put up a great fight against the number 1 ranked team in the country. The men's hockey team looks ahead to facing off against UMass Amherst Saturday, February 15th at 7 p.m.
The women's hockey team also played in a Beanpot championship against Boston College this weekend, failing to capture their 3rd consecutive title in a 3-0 loss. Huskies netminder Chloe Desjardins put up 27 saves in a first-class performance, but ultimately was overwhelmed by an Eagles team who controlled the pace for much of the game. Boston College forward Taylor Waislick opened the scoring 16 minutes into the first period, a deficit that 3 power play attempts and chances from Haley Masters and Haley Skimura were unable to erase. 2 third-period goals for BC clinched the loss, the first ever for the women's hockey team in a Beanpot championship against BC, and the end of a 6-game Huskies win streak. The team is back in action this weekend with a pair of home games against Connecticut.
The 22nd Winter Olympic Games opened in Sochi, Russia this past Friday, and there's a Husky among Team USA. Kendall Coin, a junior on the women's hockey team here at Northeastern, is proudly representing her country as the U.S. hockey team goes for gold. Coin is a forward on the Olympic team and scored 2 goals with 2 assists in a 9-0 victory over Switzerland this past Monday. If the United States can take home the gold, Coin will be the first Northeastern student to win a gold medal while still in school. The United States hockey team finished their group 2-1 and looks forward to these semifinal rounds.
Turning our attention to a quick basketball update now, mixed results for the Huskies as both the men's and women's teams split their week's games. The men's team fell short against William & Mary on Saturday, following a Wednesday night victory over Hofstra. The loss was the 3rd in 4 games for the Huskies and brought their record for the season to 8-17. The women's team trended the opposite way, rebounding from a 57-85 drubbing at the hands of JMU with a win against the College of Charleston on Saturday. The women's team's record now stands at 9-14, and they'll look to keep the wins coming next Thursday against Hofstra.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Sports Eastern. For Emil Gruber, I'm Neil McCarthy, and for everyone else, I'm Neil McCarthy. Good night.